Time ages everyone, yet not everyone ages the same. Some people walk through the years untouched, as if time respects them, while others, younger on paper, appear worn down by life. And if you've ever been told you look younger than your age, there's something you need to understand. It is never an accident. Youth, in the Machiavellian sense, is not a number. It is a strategy, a consequence of how you carry yourself, what you react to, what you refuse to carry, and what you silently let die. People think youth fades from the skin. Machiavelli knew it fades first from the spirit, and your spirit, unlike your skin, answers only to one master, you. Today, we begin with the first hidden reason, the one that separates those who are drained by life from those who seem strangely preserved by it. This is where the illusion begins. This is where the years bend. Not through creams, supplements, or genetics, but through an internal discipline powerful enough to stop time itself. Strategic emotional detachment. Not the coldness most people imagine, but the precision of someone who understands that emotions are a currency, and most people spend them like fools. Look around, and you'll see it everywhere. People aging in accelerated slow motion. Their faces folding under grief they never processed. Their posture collapsing under burdens they never needed to carry. Their skin dull from years of reacting to everything and everyone. Machiavelli would tell you this: a man ruled by emotion is ruled by the world, and the world will grind such a man into dust. But you, whether consciously or not, do something radically different. You ration your emotional output like a king guarding his treasury. You do not flinch at every insult. You do not bleed over every disappointment. You do not bargain with fools for peace. You don't waste the fire of your inner world on people who add nothing to it. And that refusal, invisible to others, is the very thing that hardens you in the best way. Here is the truth most people never learn. The face ages according to the battles the mind insists on fighting. Watch the man who tries to win every argument he wrinkles early. Watch the woman who absorbs every insult she tires early. Watch the person who breaks at every rejection they hollow early. The tragedy of the masses is simple. They mistake emotional exhaustion for emotional expression. They think reacting to everything makes them authentic. They never realize that every reaction, every outburst, every emotional surrender chisels a mark into their skin. But you are different. Your detachment is not numbness. It is self-preservation. It is selective engagement. It is the quiet understanding that your emotional energy is not infinite, and wasting it on the unworthy is a tax you will pay not just in peace, but in youth. You have learned the art of withholding, a Machiavellian weapon more powerful than confrontation. When others scream, you observe. When others crumble from betrayal, you absorb the lesson. When others exhaust themselves explaining their worth, you remain unmoved because you know that explanation is a gift reserved only for those who have earned it. This is why your eyes still carry light. This is why your presence still feels unburdened. This is why people look at you and cannot figure out what you're doing differently. You have avoided the silent erosion that destroys most people, the erosion caused not by time, but by unnecessary emotional surrender. Think of it like this. A fortress does not collapse because stones grow old. It collapses because the gates were opened too often. Your emotional gates remain guarded, and that discipline changes everything. Your breath, your posture, your skin, your rhythm. Stress carves itself into the body with merciless precision, but only if you allow it access. And access is something you do not give freely. Here is the metaphor you must carry. Your emotions are gold. Your reactions are coins. Most people live bankrupt because they spend their wealth on strangers. But not you. You spend nothing on people unworthy of investment. You do not inflate the value of fools by reacting to them. You do not let your inner kingdom be stormed by every passer-by with an opinion. You choose your battles, and in that choosing, you choose your youth. This is the essence of strategic emotional detachment, not a frozen heart, but a focused one. A heart that refuses to beat harder for those who do not deserve its blood. A heart that knows how to remain still in storms. A heart that has learned the Machiavellian truth. Strength is not revealed through emotion. It is revealed through the control of it. And that control is the first mark of someone who moves differently through time. Someone who ages slowly, quietly, deliberately. Someone who is not dragged through life but escorted by it. This is why you look younger than your age. Because while others let the world carve itself into their face, you let nothing carve itself into yours without permission. And this is only the first reason. There is a silence inside you that most people will never understand. A stillness they misinterpret as loneliness or mystery or detachment. But you and I know the truth. It is none of those things. It is mastery. And it is the second hidden reason why you move through time differently than everyone else. Mastery of solitude. Human beings are terrified of being alone. Not because solitude is painful, but because solitude strips away the noise that distracts them from themselves. Most people need constant chatter, constant stimulation, constant validation just to avoid confronting the emptiness in their own minds. They drown themselves in voices digital or human, out of fear that silence will expose how unfocused, anxious, and reactive they really are. But you, whether intentionally or instinctively, stepped away from that world. You learned to walk alone without collapsing, and the moment you did, you gained an advantage that is as psychological as it is biological. Machiavelli would say it this way: the man who needs the crowd decays with it. The man who stands alone commands himself. And the one who commands himself does not age like the rest. Look at people who cannot bear solitude. Their faces carry the exhaustion of constant interaction. Their bodies tense from overstimulation. Their minds fray from being pulled in 1,000 directions at once. They look older not because time has touched them, but because the world has never stopped touching them. Noise ages a person faster than years ever could. Solitude, on the other hand, is nature's hidden rejuvenation chamber, because when you are alone, your nervous system resets, your thoughts clarify, your internal storms settle, your emotional temperature cools, the tension slips from your jaw, your breath slows, your face softens, your energy consolidates. And this is why people stare at you longer than they should. Why they say things like, "There's something different about you." Why they study your presence as if it holds a secret they can't name. It does. Your solitude is not emptiness. It is calibration. It is the sharpening of your internal blade. It is the place where your mind cleanses itself of the residue left by others. Most people are aged by exposure. You keep yourself young by restriction. You are not available to everyone. You are not accessible around the clock. You are not emotionally open to whoever demands it. And because of that, your inner world is not a public highway. It's a private kingdom, protected by walls, guarded by intention. Imagine a pool of water. The more hands that enter it, the more dirt it carries, the more turbulent its surface becomes. But the pool that is untouched, still, undisturbed, reflects light with sharper clarity. You are that pool. Your solitude is your stillness, and your stillness is your glow. People burn themselves out trying to be everywhere, trying to be available, trying to be connected, terrified of missing out on conversations that would only drain them. But when you retreat, You don't shrink. You realign. You regenerate. You reclaim the parts of yourself that the world tries to steal. Here is the essence of this Machiavellian truth. Solitude is not the absence of people. It is the absence of pressure. And pressure is what ages the spirit before it ever touches the face. You age slowly because you know how to step outside the world's frantic pace. You understand that constant social exposure is not normal. It is corrosion disguised as connection. You refuse to let yourself be eroded. You refuse to let the vibrations of every room take residence inside your bones. You refuse to let the insecurities of others become the weight you carry. While others fear being alone, you use it as a weapon. Solitude sharpens your intuition. It fortifies your boundaries. It strengthens the structure of your identity. And most importantly, it detoxifies the emotional contaminants that exhaust everyone else. People who never sit with themselves never learn themselves. And people who never learn themselves cannot protect themselves. This is why they crumble under life's smallest demands, while you remain unshaken in storms they would drown in. This is why you walk into a room, and your presence feels heavier than your age should allow. Solitude has sculpted you. It has cleaned you. It has preserved you. It has taught you that peace is not found in noise. It is found in the decision to withdraw from it. And that withdrawal leaves marks only you can see. Your posture doesn't slump from social exhaustion. Your eyes don't dull from emotional overload. Your skin doesn't sag from internal chaos. Your aura doesn't collapse from overstimulation. Instead, you move through life as someone who has been distilled, reduced to essence. And essence is ageless. Remember this metaphor. A blade sharpened alone cuts deeper than steel forged in crowds. And you are that blade. This is the second hidden reason. There is a hunger in the modern world that has nothing to do with food. It is the hunger for stimulation, for dopamine, for validation, for escape. And it is this hunger, more than age or time or biology, that hollows people out long before their years should. If emotional detachment preserves your spirit and solitude preserves your mind, then this third principle preserves something even deeper, your vitality. Mastery over desire. Most people live as slaves, not to kings or tyrants, but to the cravings that govern their every movement. They chase pleasures the way a drowning man chases air desperately, blindly, without thought. But here is the Machiavellian truth. Almost no one has the courage to admit. Excess ages a person faster than time. Compulsion ages a person faster than stress. Lack of discipline ages a person faster than any number printed on a birth certificate. Look around you. Look closely. The signs are everywhere. The man who cannot stop scrolling has eyes that look tired even in the morning. The woman who seeks approval endlessly carries a posture that leans forward, begging for affirmation. The person who indulges every impulse, food, attention, distraction, lust walks as if their soul has been battered from the inside out. Their skin looks worn, not from years, but from indulgence. Their energy is dull, not from age, but from addiction. Their face carries the micro-expressions of regret, etched by the weight of every moment they surrendered their self-control. They are exhausted, not by life, but by craving. Desire, when uncontrolled, is a slow poison. It keeps the mind restless, the body inflamed, the spirit constantly reaching for something just out of grasp. And that reaching, that constant inner grabbing, pulls a person apart piece by piece. You can see it in their eyes, never satisfied, never grounded, never still. But you are different. You do not chase every appetite. You do not reward every urge. You do not treat desire as a command. You treat it as a suggestion, and often a foolish one. There is a silence inside you that comes from self-command, and that silence is mistaken for calmness. But it is not calmness. It is power. The power of someone who refuses to be owned by his hungers. Someone who understands, in the most Machiavellian sense, that freedom does not come from fulfilling desire, but from mastering it. Here is the paradox most people never solve. They indulge to feel alive, but indulgence slowly kills them. You restrain, and restraint gives you strength. Restraint sharpens the face. Restraint strengthens the jaw. Restraint brightens the eyes. Restraint tightens the posture. Restraint turns a wandering spirit into a directed force. People look at you and see youth. What they are truly seeing is discipline disguised as radiance. Consider two men. One says yes to every craving, every drink, every distraction, every emotional spiral. His life becomes a collage of impulses, and he ages accordingly, softly, sloppily, without structure. The other sees the same temptations, feels the same desires, but chooses silence instead of surrender. He ages like stone slowly, deliberately, with edges intact. You know which one you resemble. Machiavelli would call this the governance of the inner state. Because what is a man if not the ruler of his impulses? And what is youth if not the reflection of that rule? Think of desire as fire. When controlled, fire warms, protects, empowers. When uncontrolled, fire consumes its owner first. Most people walk through life burning themselves to stay entertained. You walk through life preserving the flame, using it only where it builds rather than destroys. This is why your presence feels sharper than your peers. Desire has not softened you. It has not eroded your will. It has not marked your face with the heaviness of overindulgence. Instead, you carry the unmistakable aura of someone who could indulge but chooses not to. And that is the rarest kind of power, because nothing is more intoxicating than someone who is not intoxicated by the world. Most people seek pleasure to distract themselves from their emptiness. You seek clarity, and clarity preserves you. Most people give in to impulse to avoid confronting themselves. You confront yourself through restraint, and restraint strengthens you. Most people chase stimulation until their nervous system collapses. You sustain your energy by guarding it, and that energy is visible in your very skin. Here is the metaphor you must carry. The tree that grows wild bears many branches but weak wood. The tree that grows disciplined bears fewer branches but unbreakable core. You are not growing in every direction. You are growing with intention, and intention is ageless. Mastery over desire is not about deprivation. It is about liberation from impulses, from compulsions, from inner chaos, and this liberation gives you a quality others feel but cannot name. You are not easily moved. Your steadiness unsettles them. Your self-control fascinates them. Your lack of addiction, whether to approval, pleasure, or distraction, makes them wonder where your strength comes from. It comes from this. You do not betray yourself for momentary satisfaction. You do not trade long-term vitality for short-term relief. You do not dissolve your identity in the acid of constant desire. And so you age differently. While others erode, you refine. While others dull, you sharpen. While others fall apart, you gather yourself deeper into presence. This is the third hidden reason you appear younger than your age, because you live in a way that honors the body, preserves the mind, and protects the spirit from the corrosion of craving. Mastery over desire is not just discipline, it is youth, disguised as control, rooted in sovereignty, radiating in silence. There is a power so subtle, so misunderstood, that most people never realize they've witnessed it. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It does not overwhelm a room with theatrics. Instead, it bends the room quietly, changing its temperature, shifting the atmosphere, altering the rhythm of interaction with nothing more than silence. This is the fourth Machiavellian reason you appear untouched by time, the power of controlled silence. Most people speak because they fear the alternative. Silence makes them anxious. It exposes their insecurity. It forces them to sit with the weight of their own thoughts. So they rush to fill it, babbling, explaining, justifying, oversharing, trying to prove relevance through noise. Each word spills a little more of their energy, leaking their vitality into the air like an open wound. But you, whether by instinct or by deliberate mastery, move differently. Your silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. It is strategy. It is presence. Machiavelli understood that the man who controls speech controls perception, and the one who controls silence controls the entire room. When others talk without restraint, they reveal their fears, their desires, their weaknesses, their intentions. They age themselves with every uncontrolled emotional outburst, every tense argument, every desperate attempt to be heard. Stress etches itself into their faces. Anxiety tightens their jaw. Nervous chatter drains their aura. You, on the other hand, do something far more powerful. You choose when to speak. And that choice, simple as it seems, preserves not only your authority but your youth. Because silence lowers the heart rate. Silence steadies the breath. Silence eases the nervous system. Silence releases the tension that ages the face before its time. The body listens to the mind. The mind listens to silence. And your silence has taught your body how to live without unnecessary strain. Most people crave the illusion of control through expression, saying everything on their mind, reacting instantly, defending themselves from every minor threat. They do not realize that each reaction carves stress into their features like a sculptor chiseling stone. Every needless argument adds years. Every over-explanation adds weight. Every impulsive word leaves a mark. But your silence, withheld, measured, intentional, creates psychological distance, and distance creates preservation. It does something extraordinary. It turns conflict into observation. It turns chaos into data. It turns emotional attacks into opportunities for leverage instead of wounds. While others are busy forming sentences, you are forming strategy. And that strategy shows on your face, not in tension, but in composure. Observe someone who argues often. Their brow furrows, their mouth tightens, their expression freezes into habitual frustration. Now observe someone who listens deeply, speaks rarely, and lets silence do the heavy lifting. Their face is calmer, their eyes clearer, their presence less burdened. You belong to the second category. Controlled silence also shifts social power in your favor, because silence is a mirror. And most people cannot handle their own reflection. When they speak into your calmness, your stillness forces them to confront the emptiness in their words or the insecurity beneath their tone. They begin to doubt themselves. They adjust their behavior. They soften their hostility. They search for your approval. They reveal what they didn't mean to reveal, all while you simply remain quiet. This is why people often describe you as mysterious, confident, stoic, or unreadable. Labels that reveal more about their own discomfort than about anything you intentionally project. What they are truly responding to is your refusal to spill your essence unnecessarily. Controlled silence also gives your words weight. When you finally speak, people listen, not because you force them to, but because the contrast between your silence and your speech amplifies everything you say. A single sentence from you has the impact of entire speeches from others. And this is not just social strategy, it is psychological conservation. You do not waste energy. You do not waste breath. You do not waste identity. This conservation is what keeps your presence sharp, your posture balanced, your internal world unpolluted. It reduces the emotional clutter that makes most people age prematurely. Silence for you is not retreat. It is reservation, a way of storing and protecting the parts of yourself that are too valuable to be displayed freely. Imagine this metaphor. A king does not stand in every marketplace shouting his thoughts. He speaks only from the throne when the moment demands it. Your silence is your throne, and people can sense that. Even if they don't understand it consciously, they feel the authority in your quiet. They feel the composure in your restraint. They feel the weight of someone who does not react impulsively, but chooses responses with surgical precision. And here is the Machiavellian twist. Silence makes you unpredictable. Unpredictability makes you powerful. Power makes you ageless. When people cannot anticipate your reactions, they tread carefully. When they tread carefully, you avoid unnecessary conflict. When you avoid unnecessary conflict, your spirit remains unscarred. And when your spirit remains unscarred, your youth remains intact. Controlled silence is not passive. Controlled silence is commanding. Controlled silence is preservation dressed as composure. And that preservation radiates from you in ways others cannot name but immediately feel. You age differently because you carry your voice differently, not as a constant release of energy, but as a deliberate extension of your will. The fewer battles you fight, the fewer lines life carves into your face. The fewer arguments you entertain, the fewer emotional toxins you absorb. The fewer explanations you offer, the lighter your presence becomes. You do not seem younger because you are untouched by life. You seem younger because you refuse to be dragged into every lesser version of it. This is the fourth hidden reason you defy time. If the first four principles preserve your spirit, your mind, your vitality, and your presence, then this fifth one protects something even more sacred, your inner kingdom. It is the force that determines who enters your world, who influences your emotions, who shapes your days, and ultimately, who has the power to age you. This is the fifth hidden reason you look younger than your age, the discipline of selective association. Most people decay not because of life, but because of exposure. Exposure to the wrong minds. Exposure to emotional parasites. Exposure to chaotic personalities that drain energy, steal peace, and erode stability piece by piece. Look closely at someone who ages quickly. You will almost always find a pattern of poor associations behind them. Friends who laugh at their pain. Partners who belittle their worth. Co-workers who manipulate their kindness. Family members who siphon their emotional strength without returning anything. Human beings absorb the energy around them. They mirror the tension of their environment. They inherit the anxieties of the people they keep close, and without realizing it, they begin carrying burdens that were never theirs to hold. This is why so many people look older than their years. They've spent their youth cleaning up the emotional messes of others. Machiavelli understood this better than modern psychology ever has. He warned rulers to keep fools, cowards, flatterers, and unstable allies at a distance, not for political reasons, but for spiritual survival. A kingdom collapses when its ruler surrounds himself with the wrong advisors. A person collapses for the same reason, but you do not make that mistake. You choose with precision. You allow few into your inner circle. You do not bond out of loneliness. You do not tolerate out of politeness. You do not entertain behavior that contaminates your mind. And this selectivity, though silent, changes everything. Your energy stays cleaner. Your nervous system stays calmer. Your face stays lighter. Your posture stays stronger. Your aura stays intact. People who age rapidly wear the marks of every person they've ever tried to save. You have avoided that fate by drawing lines others do not dare draw, because you have learned a brutal but liberating truth. Most people don't age alone. They age through the people they allow too close. Think of the friend who constantly complains, constantly spirals, constantly projects their fears outward. Spending time with them is not conversation. It is emotional taxation. Their presence exhausts you because they never learn to manage their own chaos. Or the partner who drains your confidence by nitpicking your flaws, resenting your growth, fearing your independence. Their insecurity becomes your stress. Their jealousy becomes your tension. Their limitations become your cage. Or the coworker who gossips, competes, undermines, and manipulates. Their games infect your peace. Their restlessness infiltrates your mind. Their drama becomes your fatigue. Each one of these people leaves a weight, a heaviness on your face, a tension in your body, a stress in your eyes. But you have reclaimed something rare, the right to choose who affects you. Selective association is not cruelty. It is preservation. It is the understanding that your environment is not neutral. Every person either sharpens you or dulls you. Every voice around you either elevates or corrodes. Every connection is a transaction of energy, and only the foolish leave such transactions unmonitored. You choose differently. You walk alone rather than walk with the wrong crowd. You keep your circle small rather than keep your peace at risk. You distance yourself from the draining rather than drown with them. You choose silence over shallow companionship. You choose solitude over suffocating connections. And because of that, you remain psychologically aerodynamic, unburdened by unnecessary weight. Here is a metaphor to hold. A flame burns brightest in still air. Introduce too much wind, too much noise, too many people, too many energies, and it flickers, weakens, distorts. Your life contains still air because you do not let storms stand close to you. This is what people sense when they say you look younger. Youth is not in the skin. Youth is in the absence of corrosion. And corrosion almost always enters through the people we fail to distance ourselves from. Most people fear walking away. You fear staying somewhere that destroys you slowly. Most people cling to relationships for comfort. You release relationships that cost you your essence. Most people tolerate disrespect out of fear of being alone. You refuse disrespect because you trust your ability to stand alone. This courage is visible, not loudly, but subtly in the calm of your expression, the confidence of your boundaries, the unbothered quality of your presence. Selective association reduces stress. Reduced stress preserves the body. A preserved body radiates youth. And here is the Machiavellian twist. Proximity is transformation. Who you allow near you shapes your nervous system, your worldview, your emotional patterns, your physical appearance, and even your rate of aging. You look younger because you have refused to let the wrong people sculpt your life. You have chosen peace over company. You have chosen clarity over chaos. You have chosen quality over quantity. You have chosen yourself over approval. And the body always rewards those who protect it from unnecessary storms. Selective association is not just a habit. It is a shield. It is an inner law. It is a declaration. Not everyone earns access to me. That declaration alone adds years to your life. and removes years from your appearance. This is the fifth hidden reason you defy time. Time has never been your enemy, only wasted energy, unfiltered company, and undisciplined emotion ever were. You look younger because you live differently, with sharper intent, cleaner silence, deeper solitude, fiercer boundaries, and a mind that serves you rather than enslaves you. These 7 principles were never about age. They were about power. How to preserve it, protect it, and project it without saying a word. And now you know the truth Machiavelli carved into history. Those who master themselves do not merely slow time, they rise above it,